Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm your host, Zen Garcia.
Lead me in thy truth and teach me, for thou art the God of my salvation. On thee do I wait all the day. Welcome, friends. I'm your host, Zen Garcia. This is Secrets Revealed here on Truth Frequency Radio. I thank all of you for taking the time to join us this evening as we discuss all things esoteric. I have as guests with me Anna Marie Hollander from Pretoria, South Africa. Anna Marie, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Well, thank you for making the time to join us this evening. She is the author of Yahweh's Story. And Anna Marie, can you share where people can go to, find and support your work if you have a website or contact information or anything of like that you would like to share?
My website. I prefer, and normally Ernest do that part of the, he's advertising on his website. So I think in the end I'll just let him, and he's on Facebook. So you can just find his details on the on Facebook. And he's normally handling this side of things for me, but on his name, in his name.
Okay, Ernest Hollander. Look for Ernest Hollander on Facebook. Is there any way you can turn your volume up a little bit? Um,
Volume,
not
I think it's still, is it still not loud enough?
I'm not sure if the people will have a hard time hearing you.
Okay, let me just see. Perhaps I should more speak into the. Can you hear me better now?
Um, I hear you fine, but we'll see what the listening audience says. If they
Okay.
have any problems, just let me know in the chat room, everybody. But we'll go ahead and move into the story. Just wanted to ask you as far as if you would give a little bit of kind of your journey to awakening, how long you've been seeking truth, how you come to knowledge of Christ as Savior Messiah. If you'll just share with us, in the first segment, which we have three, four 30-minute segments. So there's no rush to cover all, we can speak about and cover a lot of your journey and your story. And so that way the listening audience can get to know you a little bit better. But if you would, can you kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, your life, and also, yeah, have you journeyed as far as traveled, or have you always been there in South Africa?
Okay. Now I've just been in South Africa. I'm not a traveler,
Uh,
but as I said, I was about 9 years old when I come to meet Yahuwah. Actually, he came to meet with me. It was a very depressed day for me. I don't know what happened. I think, as one learned later on, when you came to more knowledge, I think the set apart spirit must have got hold of me that day, because normally I'm a very happy child, and that day I was so depressed. I was really so depressed, and I didn't know what was going on with me. And then, and it was, fortunately, it was not a school day. It was not a Sunday, so perhaps it was a Sabbath even. I don't know, but I decided to just go and sit under a big tree out of our, outside the house. So I just sat there, and I was just feeling very sorry for myself. and I was writing on the ground, and I felt I carried the whole world, upon my shoulder. And then suddenly I hear a voice speaking to me and asking me, "Why do you go to church?" And I said, "To learn about Yahuwah." But I was not even looking up. It was, I felt his presence even, but I was so upset and feeling sorry for myself. I did not even looked up, but I sensed presence there. But then it was a little bit of pause, and then again the same question, but in another direction. He asked, "Why do you go to Sunday school?" And I said, um, I gave the same answer immediately, to learn about Yahuwah. And then without a pause, he immediately answered me, and he said, "You know, this Yahuwah is for real." And suddenly I was so awakened, out of my depression, and I, I started to look around, and there was nobody. But I knew, as small as I've been as a kid, I just sensed that it was him. He was there with me, and he came to rescue me. But he was
Oh, that's
gone. But I repented immediately because that's what I was taught, and just I was just freed. I was just free as a bird, and it was just so awesome to me, that experience. And so that is how I started to walk with Yahuwah. And ever since that, he was my father, he was my best friend, and he was so real to me. Since that day, he was so real to me. And it's just, that was my journey starting with Yahuwah. So
And you said how old were you at this time?
it
9?
was 8, 9. It was not more than, it was 8, 9 rather. But as I said, not more than 9. It was 8, 9. I couldn't remember dates and stuff, but the day
Uh-huh.
I remember so clearly. It was like it's still there.
Yeah.
But sorry to say, but I became a secret agent. I did not know about testimony or anything like that. But later on in my school days, uh, when people asked me again, if I know Yahuwah, I said yes, and they said they could see it in my life. So I started to live it out. And
Yes.
then only when I'm older, out of school, I started to understand I should testify and I should talk about him and stuff like that. And then it was just, but our relationship just grew and grew. So that's the time when he asked me to trust him more and to get rid of my alarm clock, because I just started at a new job, and he said I must trust him more and do away with my alarm clock. And I was shaking, but I decided to trust him, and he never ever failed me. He's waking me up every morning, and I'm so I'm so in love with him because I know he loves me and everybody else out there. He loves us so much. We've got the most loving Father that anyone can ever have. Our Father, Yahuwah.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Well, i- you said that you were having depression and going through that and
That date, just that date, just that
oh,
single day.
just that
I
day.
just felt so. Yes, I was normally a very happy child and
Uh,
talkative, everything. But that day, as I said, I think the set apart spirit, that's how they explained it. He gets hold of you and convict you of sin. So I
mhm.
think that what was happening that specific day. But otherwise, I'm always talking and stuff, but I'm a little bit on my own, but I'm quite a happy chappy. But that
Uh-huh.
day I was just depressed, but I think the Holy Spirit must have convicted me of sin that specific day, at that specific day. So
Uh-huh. Uh, can you describe a little bit about just the growing up there in South Africa for those of us that are not familiar with. And is is Christianity, is that a large movement there, or how is it as far as faith and truth, and just the spiritual background of the people?
I
What
think
is it
that,
like there?
yes, I think it's because of all the different kind of nations, uh, all together, the cultures. I think it's 50-50, like there are people that's believing and there are people that's not believing. They've got their own religious and kind of cultures, But I think it's kind of 50-50, I would say. But yes, we are really enjoying our faith together with other people. So it's definitely there. It's there.
When you say 50-50, what is the other predominant belief system of the people there?
Yes, I don't know exactly how to say anything now and not get into trouble, but I think the other cultures, they've got their own beliefs. So,
Yes.
I mean,
Is it like
so
pagan or um,
yes, they
mm,
like their forefathers and stuff like that,
hmm.
But I would say 50-50 is quite a reasonable you know,
A division?
estimate.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, take us a little bit more through your life before we get into your book and what it is that you have written about in your areas of research and study. But just, again, just want to give the listening audience a chance to get to know you better. I don't know if this is your first radio interview where you've had a
Yes.
chance to
Everything is
share.
first. It was the first book and it's the first radio show. So I'm new at everything. But as I said, um, I was just a normal kind of person. And
Uh-huh.
I started to work. I always wanted to go and study because I've been an A student, but um, I just decided I was tired of learning and I went out of school and I went to work. But and I always gathered with people seeking Yahuwah and living for Him. So, and as I said, I've just walked my walk with Him, and He was always there for me. And
Uh-huh.
kind of always in my life, But as I said, 10 years ago, he promised me that I'm going to write something for him about the end times. And he gave me the title. Remember the last chapter of the book? Yahweh Soon Coming Judgment Revealed. He gave me that title, and I thought that's going to be the title of the book. But then it became, as you will know, the last chapter of our book. And then on the 30th of September 2016, okay, we came into the flat earth in 15, I think. And so, and on the 30th of September 2016, on that morning, he spoke to me and he said, it's time to tell his story to the whole world. But in the
Uh-huh.
meantime, when I got into the flat earth, um, it was so shocking for all of us. I think for everyone that experienced that. So he said it to confirm. I thought he was talking to me to reassure me. That day. Then he spoke to me and he said, "I made no globe. The only globe that exists is in the mind of Satan, with which he deceived the whole world." And I
Hmm.
thought he was trying to reconfirm me and to help me to get into, believing what I was told then. And but then later on, I understood that was going into the book. But that day, as I said, on the 30th of September 2016, he said, it's time to tell my story to the whole world. And I knew, here it is. He said, I'm going to write something. Here it is. But as I said previously also, he, as I landed up at the place that I was staying, um, he said, in the same place, he will call me again and he will uplift me. And then he said, he sent, firstly, he sent the prophet to call me. He physically sent his prophet to call me. And that was just so wonderful, because if he says something to me, he always does it, you know. And in this manner, he said he's gonna call me again, and he even sent the prophet to call me. And he said I should answer to that call, and I did. And as I said, then I came into the flat earth, and he reassured me. He made no globe. And then that day he said, it's time to tell my story. And that's what, when I started to tell his story he had started writing about his story. And it was a path of really just getting to know him even more and more, because he is so faithful and so true in everything he does. And he awakened us. And everything that went into that book, it was revealed to us step by step, and I took notice of everything, and Ernest was the one researching all of this. So together, okay, and that's special. That date also, what made it so special, when he gave me that instruction of it's time to tell my story to the whole world. It touched me, because there was like an electric current going through my whole body, you know. And with the knowledge that he said you were created for this very moment in time, and just to in this manner revealing to me that that was my purpose, why he created me. It was just so awesome. I just thanked him and I praised him, and I got so excited to know that he actually um, told me that. You know, that was just wonderful.
Hmm. Let's talk about your both you and Ernest, your awakening to biblical cosmology. Had you been looking into it, examining it in any manner? I mean, what was your introduction to it, and what made you decide to consider it as a serious topic of research?
What do you mean now, Zen? Uh,
As far as flat Earth, what led you
okay.
to begin examining it as a
Mhm.
topic, both you and Ernest? I
Yes.
mean, did Yahuwah just say, reveal it to you, and then you began to research
No,
it, or?
we heard through my son. He heard it from someone else that the earth was flat, and then he shared it with Ernest, and then we got to know. Yes, he learned, he heard it from Rob Skiba, yes, listening to his shows. And then we
Okay.
heard it as well. And then to me, just as I was walking my path with him, you know, all in all, Yahuwah, it was always the fact that Satan is the one always trying to do the wrong in everybody's life. And I just know it was him. And that's how he revealed it, and how he wrote it in the book as well. He was always the one there uh, trying to hinder things in life for people and for Yahuwah, because he's very jealous of everything. And he wanted to. Um, the flat earth specifically was, according to my understanding from Yahuwah, is when Yahusha came, because right at the beginning when Adam and Eve sinned, you know, Yahuwah promised that um, he will be there for them, and he will send someone, Yahusha. And
Hmm.
that promise was the only thing that Adam and Eve had to hold on to. You know, their life was shattered when they sinned. and they only got that promise to hold on to. And I think that Satan was working so hard for the next 4,000 years just to prevent that promise. He ridiculously thought that he could prevent it, but he couldn't, as we all know. And when it came into fulfillment, Satan completely lost himself, and that's when he started all these kind of things worked out against Yahuwah and humanity to try and confuse us, deceived us, so that we will not be and do what we and believe that the real thing is, just to sidetrack us, to get us into believing all the wrong things that he made up. So that was when he made up all these stuff one by one, and he firstly he persecuted the disciples, as we all know, and he just, through Constantine, he really just started to let people think he is Christ, and he said, you want to be known, you want to be called Christ, and his followers Christians, and that's where Christianity all started. So, in other words, he misled the whole human race, and he was so full of himself. So anyway, Satan had so many plans to derail the believer's faith. He was so jealous, and he was so he was really so he was angry because when Yahushua came, it was Yahuwah's greatest victory. Remember, the whole thing in this world is Yahuwah and Satan. It's the fight between them. It started in heaven, but then when he deceived humanity, Yahuwah was really very angry with him, and then the wars just started to get uglier, and the two just always, and we, the people, humanity was always caught in between, because he cannot fight against Yahuwah, and he knew it. So right. He chose us, and he know that because we're the apple of his eye, he know that he really, if he hurts us, he can hurt Yahuwah. And that's why he's always working out things against us, but trying to derail our faith. And he did so much harm to believers. But anyway, Yahuwah never left us. He was always there for us. And he backed us up, and he brought us back. And he, as I described in so many ways, you always had something to just draw us back again and to be with us and reassure us that everything is going to be okay.
Yes, absolutely. Well, can you, but we're almost to the next break, but I wanted to give you a chance to, and we'll go into detail about this, but what are some of the other important aspects of your book and the things that you wanted to write and to reveal to this generation about Satan's deceptions?
Okay. It is, it's really, I think he's the most cunning, he's the most shrewd, he's the most, there are no words to describe him, but fortunately for us, I can even hate him as long as I love my neighbors. But he's really, he really did what he do best, what he always, he's always on the negative, and he's always trying to deceive people. And he did just that. He deceived the whole world, and he did it well. And I just only wish that people will open their eyes and just see who Satan really is, because some people think he was made bad, to deal with us in that way. But that's not true. He was a good guy. He was the most beautiful messenger made, and Yahuwah made him that beautiful. And he messed it all up because he became so greedy, and he was so jealous of Yahuwah because he tasted his glory. He really had a mourners for the glory of Yahuwah. And that was the whole thing from the start to the end and up till now. He is so craving for Yahuwah's glory, and he wants to be like Yahuwah. And the main thing is he wanted to be worshipped. And he did that through Babylonian sun worship. And in the whole thing of sun worship, the sun, and he is symbolizing the sun, is always the middle aspect of everything, and everything is all about him. So he really worked out everything so perfect towards him and for him, so that he can be glorified and that he can be worshipped. So in sun worship, if anyone that goes into this matter and believing the things and the wrong of sun worship, they are actually worshipping Satan, and perhaps some don't know it, and they will pay the price for it, unfortunately.
Yes,
But
I
that's
agree
just
with you. Hold on,
that's
Anne Marie. We're at the first break. We'll be right back, everyone.
Sacred Word Revealed comes to Atlanta, Georgia on March 27th through 29th, 2020. Purposed to reveal end times mysteries, to prepare the final generation, we must don the full armor of God. Featuring Zen Garcia, Gary Wayne, Stephen and Yana Ben Noon, Dr. Stephen Pidgeon, Justin James Garcia, Dr. Joy Pugh, Rob Skiba, Laurel Austin, buy your tickets now at sacredwordrevealed.com.
Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm your host, Zen Garcia.
I am the Lord and none else. There is no God beside me. I have supported thee, though thou hast not known that thou shouldst fear me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west. I am the Lord and there is none else, who prepares the light and creates darkness, makes peace and creates punishment for evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. That's the Targum translation of Isaiah chapter 45, verses 5 through 7. Whereas in the King James, we have in the last verse 7, it says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. And so you see the distinction, the differentiation there with regard to the oldest translation, the Aramaic translation of this passage, because it's my opinion that God is not evil and he doesn't create evil, even though he gave the angels free will and it was their free will to rebel against him that created and perpetuates evil, in my opinion. So, um, but I wanted to go back to you, Anne Marie, and give you a chance to speak about what you have come to know about and research in connection to the war in heaven and how that plays into the fall of humanity. If you would, can you describe a little bit about that? And then we can go into some of the other aspects of your book. And because you do cover a lot of topics, and I think a lot of things that you say are especially important for this generation with regard to deception. And I think it's very exciting that you know about biblical cosmology and have embraced it and decided to write about it because it's a topic that so many people are so hesitant to even begin to examine. And so we'll go into that as well. But um, can you talk about the war in heaven and anything that you've learned about it?
Yes. You see, Satan, as you just mentioned, Yahuwah he did not create evil,
Yes.
amazing evil. He made it good, and Satan specifically, he was really the most beautiful messenger. And he walked with Yahuwah. He had all the privileges, even more than all the others, because he was so beautiful. But the negative of that is just like messengers of humanity, every one of us. If you see something beautiful, you admire it. And
Mm-hmm.
the other messengers admired him, and they just um, kind of, let him know how beautiful he is. And it just went to his head straight. It straight went to his head. He just thought he was just the most wonderful thing that Yahuwah ever created. But the thing is that uh, it went to his head. He really thought so much of himself
Mm-hmm.
because Yahuwah made him the most beautiful. The verses in the Bible and specifically the part that described him. He was so beautiful, and because they admired him, they even tried to worship him, you know. And he also, when the messengers, because the messengers were made to worship Yahuwah, and the music in heaven also was made to glorify Yahuwah and to being used while the messengers worshipped Yahuwah. And he was in charge of all this beautiful music. And the messengers really just um, got so intrigued with his beauty. And they also, in a way, started to give glory to him, and he used it. You know, he took this glory, and he actually stole from Yahuwah's glory because he thought it was also meant for him because he was so special and beautiful, and that was where he mistakenly did wrong because it was not meant for him. Glory is only for Yahuwah. His word tells us that. You should never, ever try to steal his glory because he's the creator, he's Yahuwah, and he made everything. So, because of this iniquity in his heart, because he thought so much of himself, he really he sinned against Yahuwah, and Yahuwah had to deal with us. So, but he, because he knew there was a third of the messengers with him, he tried to, because he was so craving for this glory, he really risked everything. He just decided that he would make war and he will fight because he wanted to be like Yahuwah. He actually wanted to take his place. So he started the war in heaven, and he ridiculously thought that they could win. He had a third of the messengers, but he thought, because in his mind he was so wonderful, and it's all about, he thought he can do it. He really, in his mind, thought he could do it, even though they were less than Yahuwah and um, the other messengers. He did not, that's not even to mention, how can he go up against Yahuwah? But he really mistakenly thought so in his mind because he was so a big head, thought he's just the guy. And it was so wrong, and it could not ever work. And so when the war started, of course, how could he win against Yahuwah? And the 2/3 of the messengers, they were in disadvantage from the start, but he still tried. And that's just who Satan is. You know, through the whole Bible, you can just see he's so full of himself that he really, the most negative thing, he can see it positive because he thinks he can. And it's just ridiculous. But anyway, so Yahuwah just asked Michael, because he's the head of the army, and they just had to throw them out. And it was when that happened that Satan decided that the next thing he'll do, he will attack humanity, because he was so jealous of the love of Yahuwah for Adam and Eve. And that's where the war get uglier. You know, it is the war between Yahuwah and Satan is so real. I just wish people will understand that there was just never, and it's just getting bigger and uglier because it's near to the end now also. And Satan just wants more. He just wants everything for himself. Although he knows he's going to get the end for himself, he cannot wait. He's just one that cannot wait. He's like a naughty child. He just wants it now. If he wants something, he wants it now. And he's not going to wait for anything. He's always just helping himself. But as I said, Satan is really the negative and the ugly one. Yeah, he had it all, but he messed it up, unfortunately. And it's his own problem. It's his own fault. It's what he did. So all of us, if we do wrong, we have to pay for it. And he also is paying now for what he did wrong. So he can blame no one else except himself.
Hmm. Can we talk about the calendars and also the holy days, the feast days? Because, ever since the time of Constantine, the
Yeah,
pagan holidays have been married with Christian um, holy days. And a
yeah,
lot of people celebrate Christmas, and we're in that time and we're in that season, as well as Easter, and even Halloween is celebrated in the churches, the mainstream churches for children. And so I wanted to ask you about your thoughts and your feelings on that, and whether you celebrate the Levitical feast days or that of, these pagan holidays, and the origins of them, and how you feel about the deception and its ties into Satan diverting the worship to himself from that of Yahuwah.
yes. Yes, you said the seven feasts. Um, Yahuwah, he brought us all back to the fact that he's got seven feasts for us. But when we still, living the pagan life, we were all kind of, you were all, you all, we all became part of this worldly feast. And it's really just so real. The world is just full of paganism and um, Satan um, he just loved to let people not know what is going on. And if we would just be more cautious and just do our work and to find out what really is going on. But really, he is just using everything against us. And if we don't be cautious and just make sure what goes for what, you will really never wake up. But the seventh feast is Yahuwah's feast. He had it. He taught Israel about it, and we all know that the worldly feasts like Valentine, New Year, Halloween, even Mother's Day, Father's Day, Lent, all these Easter, and specifically Christmas. It is so worldly. It's all about um, the pagan feast. It's all about Satan and his works. And people that's into these feasts, specifically Christmas, they will find that they think they are doing the right thing because uh, in the world and even in church, we have covered it with Christianity, with you bring they bring Yahusha into it, but he was never there. He was never part of the feast, never ever, and he will never be, because he was not even born on the 25th of December. He was during another feast that he was born, and he was never in Christian in Christmas. So the people that's doing this, they are so far from the truth. If only they will understand that they should come back and do the right thing, the rightful thing, and to know that Christmas is all about the worldly pagan feasts, And it is all about, because Christmas is, the thing about Christmas is Santa is taking over, and the word Santa, if you just spell it in the right order, it's Satan. It's just like NASA. NASA with a little T through is also the name Satan. And Satan signed his name on every work that he has. And he did so much wrong. And he enjoys it when he sees deceiving people. So Christmas is really all about Satan. Santa is Satan, and he is enjoying himself, and he's deceiving people, and it's all about him. So his Christmas tree specifically, the tree is symbolizing the tree in the Garden of Eden, and
Right.
the things, the fruit on the tree is the makeup things that you put on the tree, and even the lights that's going around the tree, it's symbolizing Satan himself. So he actually, year after year, he is still enjoying and reminding himself about the fall of Adam and Eve, where he won the race. And people think that they are doing the rightful thing, and instead, Satan is still enjoying the fact that he let Adam and Eve fall. He was there, uh, just messing with humanity, and he's enjoying it year after year. He is with his Christmas tree that symbolizes the tree in the Garden of Eden. He is really enjoying his work, and
Yes.
we don't even know what he means with it. But he really um, he's laughing in our face,
Right.
and we don't even know what his plans are.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you, and I've written about this as well, that the reason that even the New World Order elites in this day and age, that they worship the the sexual icons, is because
Yes,
it connects back to the beguilement of Eve in the garden.
yes, yes. That serpent seed that you taught us about,
Right.
yes, and
Right.
and that the people that thought, we all thought it was only about um, the fruit on the tree, but it
Right.
was more than the apple. That
Yes.
he actually deceived uh, Eve, and he impregnated her with Cain, and
Yes.
and and because Cain is the seed of Satan, and only Abel was the seed of Adam, and
Right.
there is that is where the battle really started
Right.
between bad and evil, because that was the seed of Satan, the seed of Adam, and that's the whole theme through the Bible, is between the good and the evil, because the seed was there, the good seed and the bad seed.
Yes.
And it was really where the battle started, extra, with more than ever, um, violence against each other. And
Right.
that's how the book of the Bible tells us about Noah, that Yahuwah had to flood the earth because of all the abomination and the mixing of the DNA. They
Right.
started to do all things, and it's the fallen messengers, it's animals, and it's humanity seed that they mixed. And it was in Yahuwah's eyes, it was such a great abomination, because he did not create that. It was the mixture that Satan taught people to do, and it was not how he created things. So it became the greatest abomination. And every time, even after the flood, then Nimrod, uh, again, he and his mother Semiramis, they also just um, worshipped Satan with all in their heart. They worshipped him with their whole heart. And
Yes.
specifically Semiramis, oh, she did so much evil things, because that's who they chose. They chose Satan,
Right.
and they worshipped him.
Yes, and that, as you said, that has been the battle all throughout the as far as the history of humanity. And there's a scroll called the Wars of the Sons of Light with the Sons of Darkness. It's part of the
Yes.
Dead Sea Scrolls, and it
Yeah.
speaks
Oh,
about the back and forth dynamic of how at some point, Pharaoh and Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar and Nimrod, that these forces of Satan, that they would be ruling during this time, but that also the God would appoint and bring to power David and Solomon and the kings of Israel, and so it's a back and forth contention, and that this enmity between these two bloodlines would be ongoing until Christ comes again in second advent, and that
yeah.
the tares then will be gathered for burning and the wheat for preservation, and that at the end of days we will have the conclusion of this war. But until that time, we will see this battle ongoing in progression,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
also has to do with the coming of the Antichrist, and how
Yes.
his rule will be established through the New World Order and world government and the United Nations. When we come back from break, we're about 5 minutes out. I'd like to get you to speak a little bit about that, if you would. Can you talk about the New World Order and just your thoughts on the bloodlines, the seed of Satan ruling and sitting on the thrones of the world today?
I've not got that knowledge that you have, but I'll try where I can see what you mean. But as I said, I haven't done research on all the
Hmm.
things that you've done. But I'll give my opinion, yes, about it,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, just an opinion. And then when we come back from break, we'll go into some of the more aspects of your book. But
Okay, is
we,
it the
yeah,
break
we've
now?
got four
Or
minutes. Yeah, go ahead and whatever you'd like to share.
okay, is it the break now?
Yes, uh-huh. Go ahead.
Okay, I don't understand. Do I need to speak now, or
We've
is it
got,
the
yeah,
break?
we've got 4 minutes. You can go ahead and
Okay,
just give your
okay,
opinion on what you think about,
okay.
the state of the world today and how you see
Yes,
things.
you see, the New World Order is it's the final countdown, I would say, for humanity set up for doing their own things.
Right.
They Satan has got this plan now, and as I said, he cannot wait. He cannot wait for his ruling because he know because he know the Bible. He knows everything in it. He knows the truth of the word. I wish that people that we really know and live the word like that Satan, because he was always there and he knew the value of the word. He knows that it's true. And so many people just don't know it. But he is the one knowing all of this. And then he is setting up the New World Order and everything in it, to make to achieve his final goal. And his final goal is to get himself into ruling. But according to me, he's already ruling the world the whole time.
Uh-huh.
It's just that he wants it more. He wants it more intensively. He wants it because he's looking so forward to the final countdown where it's his um, personal uh, Yahuwah is going to give him the tribulation, that he is the one getting all the power. And he cannot wait for that. But in the meantime, this New World Order is man's creation of doing things the way they planned it and they ordering it. So they really just want to get everything in place. They want to do the things they want because they've got the blue laws, and it's all about Sunday, the date that they changed. They
Uh-huh.
have they actually, it is where the church came in, the Roman church came in. They uh, changed our calendar,
Yes.
and it is written in the Torah as well that they will change our times, and
Right.
they will try to do so. And he did just that by they said they've got the authority to do so, and so then they changed the Sabbath of Yahuwah to
Right.
Sunday.
Yeah.
They said it is Sunday, but we know it's Saturday. But they changed the calendar so completely that people thought, and they worshiping on Sunday, and they giving him the glory, because Satan was looking for, just like Yahuwah's got a day, he also chose Sunday for his day.
Hold on. Hold on. We'll be right back.
Sacred Word Revealed comes to Atlanta, Georgia on March 27th through 29th, 2020. Purposed to reveal end times mysteries, to prepare the final generation, we must don the full armor of God. Featuring Zen Garcia, Gary Wayne, Stephen and Yana Ben Noon, Dr. Stephen Pidgeon, Justin James Garcia, Dr. Joy Pugh, Rob Skiba, Laurel Austin, buy your tickets now at sacredwordrevealed.com.
Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm your host, Zen Garcia.
All the paths of the Lord are mercy and truth unto such as keep his covenant and his testimonies. All right, welcome back, everybody, for second hour. I'm your host, Zen Garcia. This is Secrets Revealed here on Truth Frequency Radio. And I am interviewing Anna Marie Hollander. She is the author of Yahweh's Story. And we have been speaking about just some things that she's come to discernment on with regard to truth and the different deceptions, and also Satan and the New World Order efforts to divert worship of Yahuwah and the Most High God and the Savior Messiah to that of Himself. And before we went to break, you were speaking about with regard to the changing of the times and the seasons. We had also spoke about how the mainstream churches are unwittingly involved in idolatry and are caught up in the celebration of pagan holidays. And so I wanted to give you a chance to speak more and elaborate on some of the other aspects of your book and the things that you write about. So, if you would, Anna Marie.
Yes. I really think that Satan cannot wait to get this last ruling. I know, according to the Bible, that he's going to get the tribulation, but I think we are so close to it anyway that very little people know that the end of times, it's really here. They think they've still got so much time left, but time had run out for all of us. And before they will know it, the tribulation is going to start. And we all know that what happened then, you're going to be really caught up in Satan's ruling. And he already, as I understood, because he wanted Nimrod also to be part of his ruling, because Nimrod came from the beginning, from the past. He was the icon of evil, I would say, and he wanted to be like that again, because Nimrod was the sun god, and his mother was the queen of heaven, according to them, and he wanted that with him when he's going to do his ruling. So they erected statues of Baal statues, but also of Nimrod, as I understood. So he really wants to draw all that evil back to him and to be part of his ruling. And as I said, it's very closer than we all can understand. So Nimrod and the history around that, and we all know Nimrod was evil. If you can recall the Tower of Babel and everything that goes with it, it was always against Yahuwah. And that is how the only way he can be. He's just like Satan, so negative, and it's all about himself. So I think he wants to bring the Nimrod theory back again when he's ruling of the tribulation, because it is about sun worship. It's about he's the sun god. In that time, they called him the sun god. And so they want to bring the sun worship back. And we have to to know all of this, because we're not going to be allowed to worship Yahuwah. They are going to force us into doing the way they want it, and they choose it because you must know now the tribulation is Him ruling the world, and you will have to do what He's asking from you. So I believe they're going to erect guillotines and put it in the open, in public, and they will, if they tell you to do something, they will bring you in such fear that you will, perhaps people will do things they will ask them because of the fear for being beheaded. So he's going to do everything evil in his mind because that's just the way he's going to rule. It's not going to be fair. It's not going to be just. It's not going to be pretty. He's going to do whatever he wants to because that's just Satan. And we need to remember it is really very close. And he cannot wait for it. And through people like the New World Order and things like that, he's working his way up and he's doing whatever he wants to. And there are so many people that really knowing and some unknowing is playing in his way out, you know. They don't even know. And
Right.
some people do it, they do it because they want to. They choose it because they think he's wonderful. Unfortunately for us, not everyone wants to follow Yahuwah and Yahusha. There are many people choosing to follow Satan, and you cannot choose for them. So there's always the two, as you just previously said. It's the two, the good and the evil, you know. It's always there. And it's going to be there up till the end. Because everyone, that is just how Yahuwah is. Satan is going to force us, but Yahuwah never forces. He let you choose the way that you want to choose. And then you're going to, you will be able to, you have to then, you know, if you choose the wrong, you'll have to deal with it. If you chose the good, well, good for you. But as I said, Satan really tricked us into so many things. But many people has been led astray because they don't know all the things. But I really wish that people will start to wake up and see what is going on. Because if the time is finished, it's finished. You won't have, there won't be other time. You choose to do with the time you've got, and if you don't do the good things, the right things, and you choose the right thing, it's going to be too late to choose, and then then you won't be able to be with Yahuwah. So really, people have to find out what's going on, and they really have to choose and make the right choices, because time is really, really running out for all of us.
Yes, I fully agree. Can you tell me a little bit about, as far as your family, do they support you and the work that you've done, or is it contextual? Because we know that, you know, at the end of days, it speaks about in the scriptures how families will be divided, and certainly a lot of the issues, especially flat Earth and serpent seed and the calendar, Sabbath, things of that nature, are dividing Christians in theology and belief, and that has really caused strife amongst believers, which is unfortunate because we are commanded to love even that of our enemies, and yet it seems like for whatever reason, you know, the body of Christ is unable to come together and even just share discussion over topics that are not salvational, even though, yes, they may be important, for and considering salvation, but not directly related to, salvation, which we know is through Christ. So, can you tell us a little bit about that and your family and the dynamics?
Yes, as I said, it's always some are with you and some are not. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, you cannot decide for anyone. Everyone
Right.
have to. That's just our Yahuwah. He gives everyone the choice to choose for himself. Because in the end, it's going to be your choice that land you up where you need to going to be. So everyone have to choose for himself. And unfortunately, in our families, they will always be the ones that's for you and that's even praying for you and that's standing with you. But there are always the ones um, that really not with you. And I think the main problem is that people are so busy. They don't even um, take the time to go and, as you said, go into things that you don't understand. Go and look it up and go and make sure and um, just research things. You cannot just decide, I don't know about this, I don't know about that, and for that reason I'm just going to leave it out. You cannot do it anymore. Time is running out. You have to make sure what is going to happen, how it's going to happen, and uh, uh, there's so little time left that you have to make sure about the facts. If you're not sure, you have to go research it. But because it's actually um, it is new. This flat earth story is actually very new um, in the world. So little people, very little people know about what's going on, but they don't even take the time to just research and just go and do a little bit more, take some effort and look into it. But they don't even care. And as I said, I really feel sorry for people if they think that there's something wrong with you. But you know what I said to myself when I heard about this the first time is that if only I read even more the Bible, because it was
Right.
all written in there.
Yeah.
We've all missed it. In a way, we've all missed it. So if people will just make sure and do more effort, put more effort into it, and just read your Bible more carefully, because there are 240, if not more, uh, verses in the Word of Yahuwah referring to the earth as flat. If you only go and do what he says you should do.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's very well said. And I think that is the dividing line for people now, and that really the tribulation and the times that are coming up, it speaks about in Scripture how the believers are going to be refined by fire, and that it would take something like the tribulation to force people to make a choice. You know, how so much of what is called the Laodicean church, we live in luxury and live in the
Yes,
comfortable, the joys and the entertainments of this world, that so many people are comfortable in their distractions that they're unwilling to get off the couch to make a decision about their eternity and about
yes,
salvation through Christ and about anything with regard to the kingdom. And so um, it's always, unfortunately, it's always like that, that unless the world is tried in some manner, that most people are just unwilling to get involved and to examine things in any kind of a deeper manner. And unfortunately, the things of the kingdom and those things which should be our focus and our priority in life, those things get pushed to the side and put on the back burner. And
Yeah.
yeah, and so, again, I think that something like that, and not that I want, the New World Order to come to power and the Antichrist to begin to rule with impunity, but certainly that would be a catalyst for uh, Christians to finally to make some of the harder
Yeah.
choices for their lives.
Yes. You see, they are thinking now because um, we are the we are less than the mainstream people is the ones that don't want to know, and they keep on doing their old ways, walking their old ways, and they think we are a cult. But actually, what they don't understand is that the heliocentric system is a cult
Yes.
because they have got this idea of the sun is in the middle and everything around it. So that is the cult because
Right.
they are believing in the wrong things. And we are only going back to the word of Yahuwah, and he is showing us the truth. And the truth is that he created the earth flat as it was meant to be because he knows best and he put a dome over us. So he protected us all the way. And they have got this heliocentric system is so upset. It is so unpractical. It is so, it is just, it's senseless. It's really not making sense at all. And
Right.
the flat earth, it's revealing in the word of Yahuwah. If you just go and read it
Yes.
more and more intensively, you will find that that is the truth. And that the heliocentric system is the cult, that we are the ones turning back to the truth, and they are the cult. So I wish that they will just make time to see who is wrong and who is right
Right.
before time is running out and they will be found out. Because, Satan is, and NASA specifically, they, as I always said to myself, NASA is the one that wants to be the one ruling, telling people what to do and so on. And he's the one planning now for even an alien invasion, I believe, because uh, they he knows that Satan, at the beginning, when Noah uh, with the flood,
Yes.
Yahuwah felt sorry because of his creation that was nearly destroyed, and he said, "No, you will not. It will never be a worldwide flood anymore." And because of that, Satan had all the time creating himself a great, great army somewhere. He's hidden them somewhere because that army is going to help Satan rule when he's with the tribulation. And Satan wants to introduce that army of his to the world. And NASA is working with it, I believe. And they will stage an alien invasion because NASA wants to um, impress the people and making them believe that people are coming from other galaxies and stuff. But in the meantime, it's just Satan's army that he created here because he had all the time in the world. So they will believe it's an alien army coming from outer space, but it's all a lie. But it suits them because the people are so looking forward to this, um, uh, you know, uh, aliens because they see it in the movies and they will believe it for true.
Right.
But instead, it's a lie, and he is therefore it's playing in their court now. They are enjoying it, and the people are so deceived, but they don't even know it.
Yes, absolutely. There's a comment from I Am Everything in the chat room. He says, Mr. Garcia, I would like to thank you so much for you have played a big part of me finding my way back to Jesus Christ. For that I am thankful. But it was the Father who introduced me back to his Son, and it's a very moving story. Maybe one day I can share it with you. Yeah, that would be great. I am everything. Just reach out to me, Zen Garcia 2010 at gmail.com, and I'll be glad to listen. But um, and and I know myself that I've heard a lot of people that when they understand and come to this revelation of biblical cosmology, they understand that without a doubt that there's a creator and that we were made special and the earth was made special and that there's significance to our lives. And so that is restoring hope for a lot of people. And with regard to, salvation and deception, I mean, there's no greater deception than scientism that declares
Yeah.
that we all evolved from a monkey and that everything, life just came about random as a circumstance of, the earth being just at the perfect distance away from the sun to then create life. I mean, it's all insane, and yet they have most of the world believing and buying into this. And as you said, Anne-Marie, it is really, it's a cult. The whole
Yes.
belief in
They
that the
are
earth.
really, yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
They are really, the heliocentric system is really a cult. It's not for real because they pictured themselves this this world that they are in, that the space and all the galaxies and stuff. And it's absolutely, there's nothing. We know that if you read the word and you intensely, um, go into it, you will find the truth. And the truth is Yahuwah made the earth flat.
Yes.
And we just misread it. We just misread it. We just not take too much time and enough time and to come to the truth. So I'm really disappointed in myself that I did not get to it earlier. But as I said,
Uh-huh.
uh, Yahuwah is always in time. And specifically, he guided us in time to get here so that we can still make it. But another thing is what triggers me the most, and that's really just so awesome, is that he made Polaris for a reason.
Hmm.
Polaris is the northern star, and it's standing still. We
Yes.
all know it. And because of that, and they say everything's moving in such a, uh, um, with such speed. How can Polaris be part of this constellations? Still part of the constellation, because that really is for me the pits that proves that it's a lie.
Right.
Because Polaris is standing still and we're all moving. So how can Polaris be still part of it if Polaris is standing still? So
Right.
that is proof that it's a total lie. And I just feel sorry for people that never comes to the truth. It really, it's so sad, because if you just do take some effort and look into it and just read your Bible and just do a little bit more research, you will see that we've been lied to. We have been deceived by Satan, and he enjoyed every moment of it. That's why I say I'm going to enjoy it when he's going to get his day.
Yes. I look forward to that as well, Anne-Marie. Um, we're just a minute out from break, but when we come back, I do want to talk about the deception a little bit more because, in my opinion, as you equated, the sun worship and Satan being the diverting that worship, the heliocentric system to himself, that all of these deceptions are setting the premise for what is being pushed now in mainstream truth, and that's that the extraterrestrials are our creators and that they're coming to save us from ourselves. And having studied this subject in great depth, it is my conclusion that this is the end game, and that the strong delusion that the Bible speaks about is connected to the Copernican heliocentric model, setting the foundation for this what we will see as, again, the strong delusion. And so when we return from break, which we're just about 30 seconds out, we'll go into this in greater depth. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, it is the truth. And we are now at the end. We are really at the end. And he planned it all along like this. But it all plays a role, and it's fitting into coming to, to a peak, if you
Yes,
can call it like that, to demonstrate their plan, but it's also something that we can explain.
yes,
It is not the truth.
right. Hold on, Anne Marie. We'll be right back for final segment, everyone.
Sacred Word Revealed comes to Atlanta, Georgia on March 27th through 29th, 2020. Purposed to reveal end times mysteries, to prepare the final generation, we must don the full armor of God. Featuring Zen Garcia, Gary Wayne, Stephen and Yana Ben Noon, Dr. Stephen Pidgeon, Justin James Garcia, Dr. Joy Pugh, Rob Skiba, Laurel Austin, buy your tickets now at sacredwordrevealed.com.
friends, thank you for joining us this evening. I'm your host, Zen Garcia.
Yeah. Hoef dit nie nou te lees. Wat jy nog sê, man, kan jy? NASA, ja.
All right, welcome back everybody to final segment. Wanted to turn this back over to you, Anne Marie, and give you a chance to speak about the coming Great Deception and what I believe to be the foundation for the belief and the push, the theology that the extraterrestrials are our creators, because they say that they could never find the missing link, and that the missing link between ape and man is that the extraterrestrials jumped the gun on evolution. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, it's just such a pot of nonsense.
Right?
As I said, I mean, to me, I just take the word, and the word doesn't confirm this. So, but I understand that they are working with their knowledge about. Hello, are you there?
Yes, we're here.
They are believing in the aliens, as I said, but I've explained what the aliens really are. It's Satan's army that he created, and they are talking about the aliens in outer space, but it's really not that. There is no outer space. But I think I want to remind people about NASA's MK Ultra. They've got they had a program where they did what they did on mind control, and the TV is really the mind control device that they uses on all of us. I've even written in the book a code that you can Google that really confirms this. So the TV is it's some of the mind control that they uses on us, and the aliens, as I said, it's really the army of Satan that's going to come in and be introduced to us, that we believe it's from outer space, but it's not. Werner von Braun, when he was actually the father of NASA, but he started all of this, but he really repented. He really got to the truth, I believe, because in his last years he suffered from cancer, and some of the things that Ernest researched was that he died of cancer, but before he told me this, I got it. I finished the part already that says that he, repented. It's really them trying to do something, but instead, it's not what you think it is. So he got really he he felt sorry because he was dying, that he was lying to the people. That's why he had the request of Psalm 19 put on his tombstone. And I really believed he turned his life around. I believe so, because he came to the truth.
Yes, and he even had Carol Rosen, who was one of his assistants,
Yes.
told her about the false flag and the at the end of days how they would use an alien deception to try to unite the world and world government and to bring
Yes.
forth and to perpetuate that whole lie. And so I agree with you that the elites know, and that Werner von Braun, and people can look that up. Carol Rosen, Dr. Carol Rosen, she was an assistant to Werner von Braun and gives testimony, shares in disclosure all of what we are talking about with regard to a false flag alien invasion, and how the world will be united behind this whole premise that the extraterrestrials are our creators. And certainly we know this to be false, and that the fallen angels, these so called extraterrestrials, they're not from somewhere out there, but they're from the interior of the earth, and they've been banished here to the earth for a very long time.
Exactly.
But yes, and they are trying to perpetuate the idea that they are very much more advanced than we are, and that they come from a different galaxy, and that they came here a long time ago and planted humanity here on this earth. But all of that is a lie. It's all a deception, and it's all part of Satan trying to be like the Most High. And as we've been talking about in the entirety of this show, that his purpose
His glory. He started there and he craved so much for his glory that he was keep on doing it. And in every plan he had, it was stealing the glory from Yahuwah for himself so
mm,
that he can get it. Because glory creates power. And that power gave him all the power that he did for doing all these works that he did. He really he nailed it. He think he nailed it, but he's gonna get a big surprise. He knows, he knows it, but
yes,
he's still trying. He's
yes,
still taking that final glory for himself. That's
right.
just Satan.
Yes, he knows he has short time, but he's trying
Yeah.
everything he can in this final generation to get it all lined up.
Yes. No, because he's enjoying every minute of it.
Yeah,
He's just like a spoiled child, and
right,
he never learns. He
right.
just wants it, and he's gonna keep on doing what he's doing till time is running out, because he
Yes,
knows he lost it. So he's got nothing that he can still lose. He's lost it all. So, but still, he wants to enjoy every minute that he can get for himself.
yes. I wanted to ask you, because we only have 17 minutes remaining, but I I wanted to ask you about the details of how it is and that you came to embrace and believe in flat Earth. What were some of the things that you began to examine? How was it that you came to understand this as truth? Um, for instance, myself, I realized that curvature was non-existent, and that things like the dynamics of water are that it's impossible for water to adhere to a ball or to take on the shape of a sphere. And so, can you share with us your investigation and Ernest's investigation as to what led you to accept this without, without doubt?
I think you men, you are really, you want to see the physics, you want to see the proof, you know. But as for me, I think and I think Ernest did his things, you know, that add to um, make it more believable, the flat Earth. But to me, it's just always Satan and Yahuwah and me.
Yeah.
In other words, Satan did the wrong. He tricked us into this, and Yahuwah came to rescue us, and he guided us on the right way. And I just believed it, and I just know, because that's the day that he told me, after I've heard, and he told me he made no globe. The only globe that exists is in the mind of Satan, with which he deceived the whole world. It was just so. I thought he
Clear.
was talking for me
Yes.
I thought he was convincing me, you know.
Uh-huh.
And I'm so arrogant sometimes. And I had to repent every time. But and I wanted to say, um, you needn't convince me. I believe Yahuwah, because that's just how it is,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
And yes, but as I said, the thing is that I really just trust Yahuwah, because I've been walking with him so long. If he says something, I just believe it. And but I know, like the laser test over the water, it really impresses me, and that proves that as you said, things is correctly for a flat Earth, and the water always leveling. You know, it is truth, and you can testify it, you can do it, and it's really it's testable, and it's really it's good to see it, because that proves to you everything. But
Yes.
as I said, another thing that to me it's just the walk with Yahuwah, because you know, when in 2005 Yahuwah asked me to fast coffee, you know, and because I was praying on us, we were praying on something, and we said not only prayer but also fasting will do it. And I said, okay, I'll fast coffee. And as I turned around, Yahuwah spoke to me, and he said, what about I fasted for forever, you know, for life? And I really, I thought, I'm going to make it if I don't hear him. I don't hear him, because my husband passed away in 2003. In 2005, he's asking me to do away with the only thing that I have left. Coffee was everything to me. And I struggled. And during the night, I did not sleep well. And the next morning, I said, okay, I will fast coffee, if he said, but only on my terms and conditions. And I said he should take the craving away straight away. And he must help me as well, because I won't be able to do it myself. And, you know, he did not say to me what it was for. And later on, a year or so ago, he said, it will be for South Africa. That's why he asked me to fast. And we know that South Africa is in trouble. So we pray earnestly for South Africa. But he said that I fasted coffee since 2005. That's why he asked me. So now at least he's got my fasting on the altar, and he has to hear our prayers. So whenever you're praying on anything, Yahweh says, bring your fasting with your prayers, and I will hear you. So he's so true and faithful. If we just bring our all to him, if we bring our everything to him, as Ernest just reminded me about that laser test, it is that I would always bring it always rises up to eye level.
Mm-hmm.
The horizon always rises up to eye level.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the altitude, yes. So
Right.
there are so many proofs there are so many proofs. They cannot put us down anymore. We
Right.
are really winning this. I believe we are winning this race because Yahuwah is on our side. He
Yeah.
created everything and he's showing us what to say and what to do. And as you said about the water and the horizon, they and gravity, they cannot. I put it in the book. The cat is out of the bag. They cannot put him back again. So
Right.
they can say whatever they want to for this flat earthers, but that's the way Yahuwah made it, and we are proud of His creation. And
Yes.
we're not gonna stand for this creation that they created in their minds, this global lie of Satan. It's really, I just mention it as a science fiction story. It is his creative a science fiction story that he put in people's mind, but it's not the truth. The way Yahuwah created the earth, and it's written in his book, that is what we believe, and he stands with us, and that is the truth.
Amen, sister. Amen. Thank you so much for your testimony and your work. You know, so many people say that it just doesn't matter, but I really do believe truth matters, and also understanding biblical cosmology in this way. It's the only way to make true sense of what is revealed within the word. Like, for instance, Joshua's long day and the sun going back 10 degrees on the sundial, things of that nature. The creation week, the stars, the sun and the moon being created on day 4. I mean, those kind of things. Again, the truth of Yahuwah's word.
Confirmation, yes.
Yes.
No, Yahuwah is wonderful. He made everything wonderful, and He made us wonderful, and He's just the most wonderful Yahuwah. And I love Him with all my heart, and He loves each and every one of us. And He really wants to spread His love through us to the world, because some places it's still dark, and we must spread His love because He loves us so much, and each and every one. That's just Yahuwah, because He is love.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Would you mind if I asked you just how old you are?
I'm 69, and next year I'll be turning 70.
That's amazing because, I also hear that a lot of people say, well, it doesn't matter, because for a lot of people that don't know about the New World Order or that may be older, but I see a lot of older people, myself, I'm 50 next year, that this truth can turn even militant atheists, agnostics, those that have been anti-Christian, anti-God, into believers and bring them to the truth of the word. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
Yes, and remember what Yahuwah said. Um, uh, what He's trying to get us to is to come back to His Torah, come back to His command, come back to His word, and and to His feast, as we mentioned it. But His Torah is it's so important because that's
Yeah.
Yahuwah, Yahusha. Yahusha
Yeah.
is the word. So
Yes.
it's so important. If people just know how much He loves us and that He did all of this because of the love that He has for His people. And Yahusha uh, came to demonstrate it to us, and Yahuwah is confirming everything. So we just serve the most wonderful Yahuwah. I just
Amen.
love
Amen. And for those that don't know, Anne Marie and Ernest Hollander. They are the authors of Yahweh's Story. You can find it at sacredwordpublishing.com. And we've have 6 minutes remaining, Anne Marie, and I want to just give you a chance to mention what if you maybe if you have the book in front of you, can you read the chapters, the titles of the chapters, just so
Yes, I
people can
can.
have a more familiarity with your book and what it may be about?
Yes. Um, it is the beginning of time, and it takes us back to Yahuwah creating everything and the promise. When he promised Adam and Eve when they fall, he's
Yes,
going to send Yahusha. And then war in heaven, I just took you back, reminded you about Satan started it there, but that war was only ended for a while, because when he stepped out on earth, then the war started again. And the
right.
reason why is because Satan is the lawless one, and he's doing everything wrong, and he's trying to deceive us in all of this. And we were blessed through Abraham,
Yes,
because in Abraham we've got everything, because um, Abraham was a Jew. The word was written by the Jews, and the disciples have all been Jews. So we have been blessed through Abraham, just like Yahuwah blessed Abraham. And then Christianity invented the word, the most shocking discovery, how they took out Yahuwah's word and
hmm,
they changed it. That was the thing that I cried a lot, because they changed. They take out the names of
yes,
Yahuwah and they put in God and Lord and everything,
right.
and that's connected to deities of Satan, and it's not
Yes,
really. They really they done so much harm to Yahuwah and his name there. And then the seventh feast and paganism, and the greatest lie, that is about the globe, because Satan really misled us there the most. And
hmm,
reducing the world population, how he decided that he wants to reduce the world population, and he's using people and they're listening to him. And by poisoning the air and uh, uh, pouring uh, fluoride in our drinking
yes,
water, that are really killing us all.
right.
And and vaccinations, it's so sad to see that he's going to that far lengths to even take out little children with a
Yes,
vaccination that's harmful to
yes, so
people,
sad.
that they don't even care about that. And that then we wrote about victory is possible, uh, what you need to do to come into victory with Yahuwah, and how you can overcome everything and be warned about is about Satan, about NASA, about the Illuminati and all those stuff. And then deception is exposed, all the things that they have deceived us into that we can know about. And then that and I talk about there with um, um, the 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 scientist that really matters. It's Nikola Tesla was really
Uh-huh.
the actual good scientist, and
Uh-huh.
the others have been used by NASA to promote their stories about the globe. But that
Yes,
Nikola Tesla, um, in his work, he did, and he said the right things, and his work was all about the real creation. And then Yahuwah's timeline is about how everything come to pass, with um, all the prophecies about the timeline of Yahuwah,
yes,
how he created everything and all the races and all the nations. And then Yahuwah, soon coming judgment revealed, is the end time, how everything is going to fit in together, and ending up with his return, the return of the tribulation of of Satan, and then the return of Yahushua, and then the millennium and everything like that. We're going to be judged, all of us. So Yahuwah is really in his story, because he really wrote the book. Me and Ernest say we were just the penny writers. He wrote the story through us. So if you get this book, it's really the heart of Yahuwah. And he's just pouring out his love, and he's warning to everyone out there to just warn them to come back to him and to know the truth, and to get out of deception, to come back to him while there is still time.
Amen. Thank you so much, Anne Marie and Ernest. I greatly appreciate you coming on the show this evening and sharing your testimony. I think people will reach out and read your book and be blessed by it.
Thank you so much for you and your publishers that published the book, because Yahuwah handpicked you. He used Ernest and told us to straightly go to you and your publishers to ask you, because he also handpicked you.
Yeah, well, thank you. God bless all. Have a
You
great
too.
night. Be blessed. Shalom.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.